My fuckos and fuckettes, welcome back to another edition of the Average Guy's Guide to Life podcast. You know who I am. You know what this is, you bitch. You bitch. So let's hop right to it. I'm going to give fair warning here. This edition of the podcast will be kind of heavy. I'm going to try and make light of the conversation that we're about to have, but it's going to be heavy. Okay? It's going to be heavy. I use the word heavy because I don't like to say that it's going to be controversial or deep or ranty or, preachy. I don't like to use those terms. It's going to be heavy, but I'm going to try and be informative at the same time and not try and fucking talk your ear off about some shit that you probably don't care about. But I care about it. And hopefully someone else out there cares about it too. Okay? Because the goal of this podcast is to reach the average guy and the average girl and to try and see, am I connecting the dots? Are we building a community here? That's the goal. And also to entertain you. I don't have any monetary goals. I don't have any popularity goals. I don't give a shit about any of that. I really don't. If you listen to some of my first episodes, I made it very clear what I do in my spare time, what I do for a living, and how much I do enjoy giving people things to think about and giving people things to fucking laugh about. Even if it's at my own expense, I don't give a shit. I don't care. So today, I'm going to open up the podcast by talking about the stupidity of advertising. Just how advertising in general just assumes that everyone's stupid. I know that I've covered this before. Of course, I've covered this before. And this will also be my dummy of the weeks too. Like everyone involved. Everyone involved is my dummy of the week. Okay? I mentioned a few podcasts ago that I didn't eat or try the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Now, I must give Popeyes credit. Credit where credit is due. They did a fucking hell of a job promoting this sandwich. It was fucking everywhere, especially during the football season. Excuse me. During the football season, you couldn't watch a game without a Popeyes sandwich commercial with all of these quote-unquote normal people trying the sandwich on camera and I guess FaceTiming themselves as they eat it, talking about how good it is. And they got me. They fucking got me. All the Facebook posts, the Twitter posts, all of that got me wrapped up in FOMO. And I got fear of missing out. I got to try this sandwich. I can cook. I can make a fucking chicken sandwich myself. I can make a damn good chicken sandwich. A very underrated chicken sandwich to me anyway is the Burger King chicken sandwich. The spicy variety. I love that fucking sandwich. But everyone was saying that this Popeyes chicken sandwich trumped everything. And the advertising for it was in agreement with that. So I took a Sunday. This was after the football season, of course. This was recently. Maybe about a few weeks ago. I recently went to Popeyes on my free time. And I don't eat much fast food nowadays either. I don't. It's just, I don't know. It's a health thing. Everyone, don't fucking judge me, okay? I'm not one of those health nuts that has to count every calorie or some dumb shit like that. I'm just trying to live a more healthy life. So, but every now and then I indulge, as I think everyone should. Everything in moderation, okay? So I go to this fucking Popeyes, and I get the chicken sandwich. I get two. I get the original, and I get the spicy. It was chicken, and it was a sandwich. But was it what they made it up to be? What they made it out to be? Did the advertising actually match the product that I was given? Hell no. No. First of all, of course, the advertisers are going to show the perfect fucking sandwich. They're going to show the buns nice and fluffy looking, the chicken looking nice and crispy and juicy in the middle. You know, I get there, the bun's all fucking flat, look like somebody pressed on it. You know, the chicken just looks like any other piece of fucking chicken. I mean, on a scale from 1 to 10, the sandwich was about a 6. Not too bad, but not excellent. It's overrated. Extremely overrated. So the dummy of the week goes to everybody, including myself, that fell for that dumb shit, thinking that they were about to taste Jesus. Like, I'm about to get some ambrosia. This shit is gonna be the best thing ever. No, it's just another fucking chicken sandwich. It's just another chicken sandwich. For convenience sake, I take a McChicken over that. For convenience sake. Does it taste as good? No, because the McChicken is just goop. But for taste's sake, I would take the Burger King chicken sandwich over the Popeyes chicken sandwich. That's right, I said it. Yeah, I fucking said it. It's overrated, folks. Now, their fries and their red beans and rice, still on point. You know, their regular chicken, their spicy chicken, still on point. But that sandwich, they keep that shit. Another thing with advertising that I've noticed, and I don't watch a lot of television. I really don't. It's on in the background as I'm doing other things. I think I've mentioned that before as well. But while I am doing other things and the TV is just on mute, I do notice commercials. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos too. And I notice commercials on them as well, or ad spots. And I noticed a trend that's been happening for about a decade now. And it's a disturbing trend. It's very disturbing. And it's upsetting at the same time. There are commercials that, of course, they're trying to get you to buy their product, right? So they want to hire the demographic to play in that role for their commercial that will engage the demographic to buy that product, okay? So if they're selling, for example, if McDonald's is trying to get the black community to buy some shit, they'll put a bunch of black people in their commercials. If beer commercials are trying to sell you some shit, they'll put a bunch of average looking guys in their commercials, or attractive women. That used to be a thing in the 90s. They used to sell beer by just trying to put cheerleaders and supermodels in their commercials until they realized, guys aren't falling for that shit anymore. But that's a different story. What I've noticed now, though, recently, well, not recently, it's been progressively going in this direction for the past decade. There aren't any dark-skinned black people in a vast majority of commercials. I'm a black person. I'm not dark-skinned either. I'm kind of light-skinned. I say I am the complexion of like wet sand. Like wet red sand. That's what I look like. But anyway, just look at these commercials and just pay attention to what they're putting in them. Of course, they're putting the models in there. They put a bunch of fucking models, like people that should be walking the runway or possibly do walk the runway in their commercials. I get that. Do I think it's dumb as fuck? Yeah, I think it's stupid. Why do you need to put this model in this commercial to try and sell me a car? Get a fucking normal person to drive this car. But I get it. But as far as them hiring dark-skinned black people, especially dark-skinned black women, it's not there. It's not there. What they've replaced it with instead the quote unquote black woman that they put in there is always a light skinned black woman with a curly afro. Say I'm lying. Fucking say I'm lying. I dare you. I dare you to say I'm lying. Just look at your commercials. If you watch them, even if you don't, just watch a few. Watch a few of them just to confirm or deny, but I guarantee you will confirm this fact that I'm saying. The black women that they put in these commercials are all light skinned with big curly hair. And it's been happening for a decade. What they're trying to do is phase out the dark-skinned black woman. They're trying to phase them out. They're trying to say that they aren't attractive. They aren't worth being in our commercials, which is fucking insulting and ridiculous. But they've been doing it and they've been getting away with it. They're trying to change. And I don't believe in conspiracies, okay? I don't. But I don't think this is a conspiracy. I think this is deliberate. They are deliberately trying to change the beauty standard of the average viewer. We're trying to change what you perceive as a beautiful person. You know that we're hiring models for this commercial. You're not dumb. These are models in this commercial. The majority of them are white. Yeah. So we have to drop a few black faces in here. We'll keep the dark-skinned black man. The dark-skinned black man has been trending. That's good. With Idris Elba, still out there doing his thing. So we'll keep the black man, the dark-skinned black man. There aren't very many light-skinned black men, but I don't take offense to that. What I do take offense to is them just completely removing the dark-skinned black woman from these advertisements to try and sell you a beauty standard. And they're doing it so subliminally. I don't know if I said that word right. But they're doing it, so well that you don't even notice it. So I wonder if anyone listening to this right now will even notice themselves. Or will you just say I'm full of shit? That's fine. Say I'm full of shit. That's fine. Maybe I should pull some data. But then again, I really don't think it's that important for me to pull data. I just think it's dumb. And I think it's unnecessary. And I also think it should be addressed by me right now. Right now. And I probably won't think about it again because I'm just going to avoid commercials. I'm going to avoid them. It's upsetting. But now to the topic that I really wanted to get to. I just wanted to get that advertising bullshit out of the way because those are my dummies of the week. I wanted to talk about a conversation that I heard via a podcast earlier this week. And it was two different conversations held by two different people. And I felt that they both needed to be addressed because I think the direction of the conversation was wrong. And I think the perception that each person had was incorrect. And the first of those conversations where they were talking about incels, right? And if you don't know what an incel is, it's kind of a combo abbreviated term. It means involuntarily celibate, okay? Someone out there that is celibate, that can't get any fucking sexy action going on. They can't meet a partner that's willing to bed with them. They can't get any dick or any twat. But it's not by their own choice. They're trying. They're out there trying, but they just can't, they can't orgasm unless it's with their own hands. So, and it's basically people that are either very genetically flawed, people that have some sort of, genetic disorder, or people that are extremely overweight, or people that are just off-putting, or maybe you just have a strange odor. Okay, for whatever reason, you're an incel. You're involuntarily celibate. Now, that term is mostly used to describe men, an incel man. Okay, a lot of women no matter what you fucking look like. And I've learned this. I don't know how it's possible, but I've learned this. Women can get it whenever they fucking want, no matter what they look like. No matter what they look like. I'm gonna put my brother on blast right now. He probably won't listen to this anyway. A woman that should have been an incel, right? He was, I guess, in a relationship with this woman. Now, my brother's not an ugly person. He is not an ugly person at all. But this is why I think a woman should be considered an incel too. But they're not. They could just get it. They could just. It's so baffling to me. So baffling. A woman can look like, I don't know. She can fucking look like, what's that thing? What's that thing from Star Wars? Jabba the Hutt. She can look like fucking Jabba the Hutt and still rake in some dick if she wanted to. But my brother, he brought this person down to the place I was staying at the time and briefly introduced me to her. And I'm thinking, oh, this is just someone that's giving him a ride somewhere. Has to be. But it wasn't. It was someone he was fucking. He was fucking this lady. And this lady, oh my God, like, not only was she genetically flawed, it was like she ate someone who was genetically flawed. It was horrendous. Damn, I'm coming off as really mean right now. But okay, let me not be mean and just say visually what this person looked like. They were like 5'5", maybe pushing 240, 250 pounds. Very bad weave. Very tight yet baggy clothes. They didn't carry their weight well. They kind of looked like an onion, but with a stem and the head of the onion still attached. So it's like really skinny legs. Like the root of the onion was still there. So it was like tight in some places and loose in other places. And then she smiled and she was missing some teeth. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why are you doing this? I imagined that you had money. Okay, I'm being mean again. But I believe women should be considered incels as well. But apparently, men will fuck anything. This has been proven over the centuries that we've been alive as human beings. Men will fuck whatever. Just as long as it... Oh, okay. God, I don't want to... Let me stop envisioning that. So, back to the original point here. The point that was made on the conversation I was listening to is that incels, mainly men, remember, are described using this term. Incels don't like going out to concerts or public events. And that's only because they aren't sexy or they aren't desirable. They just don't feel like they belong there. First of all, I think that's bullshit. It's bullshit. The definition of an incel is someone who's involuntarily celibate. Going to a concert has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with sex. Maybe a person just doesn't like to go to fucking concerts. Maybe a person don't like to spend their money on dumb shit like that. You know? You try to put people in a box because of their character traits. I've seen people that should be incels that aren't. That are genetically flawed. And aren't exactly pleasing on the eyeballs, but you know, maybe they got game, maybe they got swag, maybe they got drip, maybe they got money. They can get girls. And I've also seen people that aren't the typical incels that also don't like going to public events such as concerts. Handsome people, attractive people. They just rather do other things with their money and other things with their time. Am I making any sense here? I mean, let me know if you agree with me or not. I find it to be a reach of sorts. You can't just categorize people like that and say everyone falls under that umbrella. Because I personally, I didn't get offended by this take or by the conversation. Don't get me wrong. But when I heard it, I I was slightly baffled because I've never been to a concert in my life, and I love music. Love it. Every fucking genre. I love music. Everything from Johnny Cash to Nas. Everything from fucking, Motorhead to Depeche Mode. Everything from Michael Jackson to, I don't know, fucking Nirvana. Everything. I love music. And I've never been to a concert. I'm not an incel. So, are you calling me one now? Are you? Via the conversation you just had, you bitch? Go fuck yourself. I'm not an incel. It's just, well, first of all, well, that's a long story. I haven't been to a concert for a multitude of reasons. But trust me, I am in a position to which I could go now. I could definitely go to whatever fucking concert I want to, and I still haven't been to one. Here I am. Here I am on this podcast sitting here complaining to you. I don't mean to. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to set the record straight and hopefully make sense to, just a corner of the world. Just anyone who's average or anyone who lives an average lifestyle that feels like they're being misrepresented, because a lot of shit gets misrepresented and everyone needs to belong in a box. Everybody has a box where that's not the case. We're people. We vary. There is not a cookie cutout for any sort of person, not even an incel. Okay? I try to do my best in describing what, is commonly known as an incel, but that doesn't mean I'm correct either. That don't mean shit. So all I'm saying is don't try to put people in a box. No one fits in any box. No one. And with that being said, that leads me into my next talking point, to where I wanted to mention just how thinking and being outside of a quote unquote box can lead to alienation, and what that fucking means and what it looks like. Because I heard another conversation on a podcast that was also sort of misrepresenting people. Well, first of all, not every person that has a tragic upbringing make it. You only hear about the people that do. The people that go through struggle and go through poverty and abuse or whatever the fuck, that happens to become a famous actor or athlete. And, it's supposed to be inspiring and uplifting. That's all great and fine. But, the vast majority of people that live that life, that's in poverty, live in a hood, in gang infested areas, that has been abused in their life, a vast majority of them, they don't. They still aren't on television. They aren't being celebrated. They're just still living in that life. They're still living in that bubble. So, but there's a consequence too. There is a consequence for not fitting in a box. Although I believe boxes don't exist and they shouldn't exist if people do believe they are a thing. There is a consequence for it, and there is a reason why these people that live tragic lives, you never hear about them. There is a reason. Because they choose not to leave. They choose not to leave that environment. They choose not to leave that box. There is and like millions of people across the nation, just this nation alone, that live in poverty. They live in gang-ridden areas. They, they live around chaos every day. And they've been abused or whatever the fuck. There are millions of people that still live like that. I firmly believe that everyone is given the equal opportunity to leave any situation that they're in that they don't like. If you're born in the hood like I was, you have the choice. You have the choice to stay there and become integrated. I don't know if I said that word right. You have that choice to stay there and become a part of it, or leave and become something else. Now, I'm not saying that certain people don't have certain character traits that make them who they are, but I do believe that everyone needs to find out who they are, find themselves before they decide what their community is, and community as in the group and community of people, your tribe, right? So, for example, I was raised on the west side of Chicago. And the west side of Chicago, that's definitely a community. There's definitely a tribe and a trend and a group and an atmosphere to that community. It's very evident once you step foot. But not everyone is meant to stay there. But if you are to stay there, you are expected to be what your community is. You're expected to reflect that. And if you don't, then you're not welcomed in the community. So while you're there, you have to, be what you see. Everything that happens and everywhere you go is up to you. It's up to you as a person. So if you decide once you've learned yourself that this is where you belong, by all means, stay there. By all means. But you have to fucking learn yourself first. You have to learn yourself. But this is where the alienation part comes in, right? Let's say you decide that you don't belong in this community. Let's say you decide that this village of people aren't really your people. Even if you've been there your entire life, you've just taken a moment to discover yourself and you branch outside of what's acceptable in your village. Well, now you're an outcast. Shout out to Outcast. Now you're an outcast. Now you don't have a community. You don't have a village. Now you're looked at differently by the people that you used to be a community with. And that breeds alienation. Now you're trying to find another community. Now you're trying to find another village, another mob that you can join. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for everyone. You can leave one community and never find another one. And these people's stories are the ones that you just won't hear. You won't hear it because they didn't have the community and the support. Maybe they didn't make it, so they aren't projected on your television screens to inspire you to continue, even though you don't fit in the community that you used to. You don't have a village currently. I was raised on the west side of Chicago, around gangs and violence and shooting and drugs, all that shit. But would I go back there to stay, to live? Would I re-inject myself into that village? No. Because I know myself and I know I don't belong there. But was I alienated from that village, from that community, because I choose not to behave how they feel I should behave just because I am from that area. Of course, I feel like an outcast from that specific village. Do I currently have a new village? No, I don't. But that's fine. That's fine. You have to be comfortable within yourself. So even though it isn't projected on your television screen, if you feel the same way, or if you can at least relate to the things that I've said the past half an hour or so, you're not alone. You don't need some fucking shiny example telling you that, oh, you can make it. I was from here and now I'm here and I'm doing this. No, you don't need that. Find yourself. Find what you like to do, who you are, and get a passion about that. Get a fire under you about that. And just be comfortable with it. People, we vary. Everyone varies. Everyone fucking varies. You may have a best friend that you have 99% of things in common with, but that 1% can matter the most to them. You just won't know. I don't know. Sorry, I just got really heavy this episode. I just got really deep. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. I just had to get these two things out of the way and off of my mind. Because I do feel like everyone is different. No one fits in a box. There's a lot of stereotypes that are true. There's a lot of people that do things because they're popular and they're trends, but we still vary. We still vary. And there's a lot of misrepresentation out there. I just want to set the fucking record straight. Coming from someone who is admittedly unusual. I'm fine with that though. Anyway, sorry about this episode. Sorry to fucking preach to you. Hopefully we'll be better tomorrow with the Freaky Freaky Friday. Well, fuck that. We will be better tomorrow. Okay? You got my word. I still remember I got to talk about balls. I haven't forgotten that I need to talk about balls. We're going to talk about some balls. We're going to talk about, some naughty shit. And hopefully I can get your juices flowing. You get what I mean? Juices flowing. Bye.